Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here at my old stomping grounds, helping my cousin move this weekend, and I figured I'd hit up my favorite park. Here's where I read the Dark Tower series. Here's where I read tens of thousands of pages. It is steeped in the primordial ooze of my reading journey. And I picked up this book, The Earth is Near, that I showed in my haul. Had a very intriguing bright pink back cover. And it's a familiar vintage sci-fi feel, which is fitting for the setting. We are at Potsmoke Ridge right now, as we called it in high school, for reasons. But we are headed to a more suitable reading destination. I know this park well, so I've already mapped out the best places to read, which is convenient for us today. So, let's go. Well, this was going to be my first reading stop, but apparently not. This is an old abandoned hotel built in the early 1900s. It looks like a castle. It's really cool on the inside, but I guess they are doing something to it. There was a fence back in my day, but it was a lot easier to sidestep. They've obviously taken some more measures. They must be doing something to it, which is good. I don't want things from my childhood to change. I don't like things from my hometown to change, but I know that's my problem. Things have to change. I have to leave room for progress. And just because the place is different or the place has changed, the memories are still in my head. I still think fondly of them. I can probably dig up some old pictures I have of inside to show you guys. It was really cool. It was a hotel, so there's all these different fireplaces that are still intact, all these different radiators that are kind of dangling down from the inside walls, and of course inside is a bunch of broken glass, a bunch of precarious ledges, a bunch of graffiti, a bunch of trash. It's a teenage wasteland, and there's got to be some danger in a teenage wasteland. That's part of the deal, and I sure utilize that. I think they might be making like a walled garden in there, which is really cool. So things can change and still be good, especially as I get older. I need to remember that. But of course, today we are resting on our laurels. Also, the mountain laurel is out in full bloom, so it smells really good out here. Unintentional tie-in, unintentional tie-in. We are reading some comfort food. We are reading something that we fondly remember. But this is a good reminder where sometimes things you fondly remember change, and there can be merit in that. There is merit in change, but there is also merit to resting on your laurels. Another balance, another yin, another yang, and we bounce back and forth endlessly. But that's part of the deal. That's the game. That's life. I always called this the bus stop because it looks like a bus stop right along the trail. I like to imagine some kind of Miyazaki inspired train coming through and dropping off some forest spirits or something. But it's a great place to read. I have waited out a lot of rainstorms in there. Very cozy, perfect reading environment. Although a little moist, so not great for the book, but great for the reader. I'm liking it. It's about a space expedition to Mars. The main character is the psychiatrist who is dealing with all of the mental repercussions of a group of people in a confined space over a long period of time. What's confusing me is this little sentence on the back. Winner of the German Children's Book Prize for 1971. Not that it's gone too deep yet, but it's definitely on the verge of some very adult mental psychoanalysis. So, curious about that. what kind of children's books they putting out there over in Germany. But in any case, I'm liking it. It's comforting. That's why we're here. Familiar place, a familiar premise. The last book I read was Sirens of Titan, which was very deep and called for a lot of mental analysis, a lot of thought. This one, although the premise, it might actually, but it's a lot more familiar, it's a lot light. At least I'm reading it that way, which there's something to be said. You could read a book however way you'd like. You could read Sirens of Titan just for the plot. But now we're headed to the beacon, the tallest point. I'm not sure how much you guys can see, but you'll have to trust me. There's a good view of my hometown out there. It's always a humbling sight. It's always a nostalgic sight. I've been up here hundreds of times through many different phases of my life. But this one still remains the same, more or less. From a general view, things stay the same, but once you get down in there into the streets, into these specific buildings and businesses and houses, things change a lot. And it's comforting to be up here where things don't change, but also necessary to be down there where things are changing. Once again, balance. Everything's balance. Yin and yang. What is that philosophy? Is that Taoism? I need to read up on that because my thoughts seem to be shifting in that direction. I was kind of hesitant to bring my camera into the woods with me on these kind of hikes because this is like my very intimate, very personal experience, and I didn't want something to ruin that by interjecting it. But really, it just kind of emphasizes what I'm doing already, which is looking for beauty, looking for little moments of tranquility. And in filming that, I'm just more aware of it. And I'm able to share it with other people, which I think is the biggest benefit. I hope you guys appreciate this as much as I do, and it goes without saying, you gotta come out and see it for yourself. This is a bit of a lesser substitute. I hope it serves to motivate people. I hope it serves to spark some desire to come out here, because it is forest bathing. You feel cleansed, you feel better in a lot of senses of the word when you're out here. And I encourage everyone out there, whatever capacity you can do it, get out in nature, bring a book, bring some food, and just plan to be out here for a while. In silence, don't play music on your phone. Leave your phone in your car, ideally. I know that can be hard. There's never been an ideal place to read up here. There is a bench over there with a tree as a backrest. It's too small though, it doesn't make the best backrest, but we're gonna do what we can here. I'm thinking this is more than a beach read now. Definitely not a beach read. It's going into some deep territory. I always like science fiction where it contrasts the great technology and the great ideas we have with the fact that we're still in these fleshy bodies with more or less fragile mental states. In terms of space, we have the technology to launch 6 men light years away. Well, science fiction does, I suppose. But we need that level of advancement in our own psyches as well. which is certainly not as cut and dry a science as space travel. So yeah, maybe not the most beach read, maybe not the light, fluffy, pulpy thing I thought it was. Becoming less and less of a children's book though, but I'm liking it. I mean, even in a singular book there needs to be balance, right? You want some fluffy aspects, but you have to have some kind of philosophical element. Maybe that's just me, that's probably just me. I always want a philosophical element, something to really ruminate on. But other people don't like to ruminate. It's time to move on. I can only really get a chapter out of this. That tree gives you no lumbar support or something. It is kind of cool because when the breeze picks up, you can feel the tree kind of moving behind you. You kind of feel like you're part of the whole system here, which you are, of course. A few degrees detached with the clothing and the book and the cell phone and the camera and whatnot, but you are still part of it. All right, let's head off the mountain. If you're wondering why they call it the beacon, it's because of this airplane signal that they have at the very top here. It lights up so that planes don't crash into the mountain at night. This is my wife's favorite view. I always send her a picture when I pass by here. Maybe I'll send her a video this time. Well, this was going to be my last reading spot. There used to be a picnic bench right here, and it was my office for a while. I can easily bike here, and I'd come here every day to read or write or do whatever I needed to do. And there were always signs of ill deeds on the picnic bench, around the picnic bench. But I think they took it out because someone tried to set this tree on fire, which is really disheartening. I'm sorry, tree. I'm sorry for what my people have done to you. So I guess I understand why they took the picnic bench out. As we've already learned in this video, things don't stay the same. I can't expect them to stay the same. It's really too bad, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to read against this tree for very long, but I want to give this tree some company. For a long time, people came to see this tree, and then one day someone came and set it on fire, and then it never saw another person again, which maybe the tree enjoyed, which maybe the tree thought was okay. But I gotta show this tree that people are still good. I made a good impression on the tree. Book is getting a little more pulpy as it goes on, which is good. Which is kind of what I wanted. Here, my old stomping grounds, kind of centering myself, balancing myself back to a neutral state so that I can go forth and do new things and challenge myself. But this is necessary too. I have to remind myself of that often. And like I said, get out here yourself. Take a book, whatever you got. Find some woods, find some breeze, find some green, find a way to balance yourself out. All right, well, thanks for joining me on this hike. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.